Let me let you in a little secret that Unit 2 is the strongest, most practical, and highest scored unit in your entire syllabus. Why? Because Unit 1 was pure theory, right? So, Unit 2 is about how e commerce actually works in the real world. So this is where we look at how a website gets built, how products are discovered, how data is tracked, and how money safely moves from the buyer bank account to the merchant's pocket. So if you understand how you shop on Amazon or Myntra, you already know 70% of this unit. You just need to know about the technical keywords to impress the examiner. So if we talk about PYQ radar, this is the breakdown of what we'll be discussing. First, we'll know about the building blocks of e-commerce application. Then we'll move forward and discuss what SEO is and its multi-million dollar importance in online retail. And then we will be deconstructing the anatomy of product description. What is product description and what are the different parts of product description page. Then we'll talk about the third party integration and how fascinating concept of data layering for analytics. And we'll talk about the process, the phases involved in establishing e-commerce website, and we'll talk about the major components of e-commerce site that we use to set up. Then we'll talk about the types of e-commerce in detail. We have already talked about it. This is the part of Unit 1. I'm sorry. And then we'll talk about the recommendation system and how the product comparison system works. Alright, side by side we'll be talking about the recent technologies like augmented reality, big data, and cloud computing, and how they help in e-commerce business. Now let's tackle an ultimate long form question which shows up in almost every exam, that is how to build an online e-commerce presence. So what are the basic phases we need to follow? Let's walk through these 6 phases step by step. Alright, so phase 1 is the planning phase. So this is where we lay out our business blueprint before writing a single line of code. You can't just say I want to sell electronics. No, you have to define explicit business requirement, that what is exactly that your business need to achieve. Okay, then you need to set goals. You can use the SMART strategy to identify the right goal that should be required by your business. Then you need to map out the target audience, who you need to target, what are the demographic, what is the shopping behavior for your ideal customers. And then you will be doing budgeting. All right, so you are fixing a strict budget over here. For example, for your premium store, there is your premium store named Electro Hub. So your business requirement isn't just basic sales, right? You need to have a live inventory syncing across multiple warehouses and international multi-currency checkout support. So your SMART goal is to clear 5,000 successful transaction within 6 months of period, right? And your target audience isn't just everyone, it is tech savvy professional age between 22 to 45 who care about fast delivery and premium product authenticity. And we allocate our budget deliberately. Okay, so what would be our budget? Like 40% on robust engineering, 40% on aggressive customer acquisition marketing, and 20% on bulletproof server infrastructure. So this is how you actually segregate your planning phase. Then comes the second phase, which is system analysis phase. Alright, so in the planning phase we establish what we want to achieve, and in system analysis phase we determine exactly what features the system need to make. Okay, so it is the detailed description of user requirements, right? User requirements, that is the customer experience, and then technical requirements, that is the performance matrices. And all of this is officially compiled into a high grade technical document which is known as SRS. SRS stands for System Requirement Specification. So it is a formal document and it lists every function and non-function requirement we have. So taking an example of Electro Hub, so for Electro Hub, the user requirement is that the customer must be able to complete a purchase using a secure one-click biometric mobile checkout. Okay, so this is a user requirement, and instantly track their packages on a live interactive map. So the technical requirement states that our pages must load in 1.8 seconds globally. Alright, this is the loading time and it should not go further than this. And the system must handle a massive traffic load of 10,000 concurrent users without slowing down or dropping the connections. So this is how we specify the requirements and then we compile it into the document of SRS. Alright, let's move forward. And the phase 3 is the design phase. So this is where our ideas turn into blueprint. So to get the full marks, you must need to explain that design splits into two distinct paths, that is logic design and physical design. So you see, logic design is a flow chart of data. So think of it as a data architecture map. It is how information flows when a user interacts with the site. Okay, and the physical design is the actual technical specification, that is the detailing of server, of database software, that is the physical design. Okay, so logical is the flow of data and it is the specific blueprint. So for the Electro Hub, the logical design would be the data flow chart, that the user clicks buy now and then the front end passes item to API, and then application server queries database to verify inventory, then payment processor authorize the card, and database reduces the stock count by 1, and the confirmation email triggers. So this is the logical design. Meanwhile, our UI UX designers would be building the interactive wireframe, ensuring the checkout button is placed perfectly with natural thumb reach out on mobile screen to minimize the cart abandonment. Alright, so UX UI designers play a very versatile role in this, focusing on the user journey and visual appeal. The next part is the hardware selection. That comes to our phase 4. So this is where we provision our physical and virtual infrastructure layout. Alright, so what happens, we need to make sure we have a dedicated resilient hardware architecture. So to make sure, we have list of 5 essential hardware pillars. First is web servers. So high demand multi-core processor servers which are dedicatedly accepting and rendering raw web pages requests. Then we need to have application server to run the business logic and the actual business requirement properly. Then we need to have database servers. Alright, so database servers which are arranging arrays, which are providing high throughput for storages. Then we need to have load balancers which are traffic cop routing devices. Alright, so which helps our network to run smoothly without disturbing any incoming traffic, and also that there is no single machine that get overwhelmed or crashes during the flash sale time. And then there is a security hardware as well. We really need that to detect if there is any insecure or malicious activity happening around us, and to help to securely do the payments. Alright, then next forward comes is the software selection. Alright, this is the phase 5. So in software selection, we are selecting the core software layers which are required for our business to run smoothly. So first we are selecting the operating system, the secure enterprise grade platform, typically Linux distributions, like we are going for Ubuntu server or Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So whatever operating system is required. Then we are choosing the merchant software, the core engine of the store. Okay, so this can be a open source platform, or it can be cloud hosted like Shopify or customer build solution, anything. Then we also have a DBMS. All right, the relation engines like MySQL, PostgreSQL to keep up data structured, and then most important, the security software. Alright, the high grade SSL and TSL certifications and anti-malware suits are required. The last but not the least is the final step called deployment and maintenance. But before we launch our code into production, we must run it through rigorous testing. So this part includes unit testing, alright, and system testing, that is testing the entire site end to end, making sure that payments are seamlessly updated and the stock records are updated. So once the testing is passed, you deploy the site to the live servers. So after the launch, the maintenance part begins, right? So maintenance requires continuous security patches, bug fixes, and performance update. So before taking Electro Hub live, so what we do in this phase, we are asking the quality assurance engineers to run an automated script that simulates that 5,000 fake buyers checking out simultaneously. So we discover a bug where the database stalls under pressure, or we patch the code and deploy the clean version to the production servers, right? And then we open the doors to the public. And post launch, what we do, we monitor the analytics daily, and then we optimize the database, and we look if it is working fast or not, and then we are maintaining it, right? So this is how the phases of e-commerce website development works. So let's move on to one of the highest yielding business critical topic of Unit 2, that is SEO, or we can say search engine optimization. So if an examiner asks you a formal definition, make sure to write it clearly that SEO is a systematic, alright. So it is a systematic engineering process of optimizing, of improving the quality and quantity of website traffic. Alright, so to maximize what? To maximize the quality and volume of organic traffic from search engines. So in e-commerce, it specifically refers to optimizing the product pages, categories, and various other user searches so that your store is the first one they see. And this is what we are not paying for. So do not confuse SEO. Do not confuse SEO with SEM. So SEM is the search engine marketing. This is where you pay to play. You pay the Google every single time a user click on a sponsored link. So this is a different thing. The moment you stop paying for the ads, the traffic might drops absolutely to the zero, right? So this is why SEO comes into being. SEO helps to focus entirely on earning the top organic ranking. It provides a highly sustainable stream of free traffic over the long term. Alright, so why does business care about SEO? First of all, it reduces the acquisition cost. So instead of spending thousands of rupees on digital ads, the customer finds you naturally. It builds immense trust and credibility. Shoppers naturally trust the organic search. If the organically you're coming on the top without suggestions or without paying for it, so it is more valuable than a sponsored tag. And then there is high intent, competitive there is competition. If it is on page 2, if your competitor site is on page 2 and yours is page 1, you will capture 90% of the potential customers. So you have the competitive advantage over other people who don't have SEO loaded into their own systems. Alright, if we talk about the practical concepts which are included in SEO, what is the mechanics? You need to explain these three things. First is the keyword. Keyword stands for language of the user. Keywords are the phrases which we typically type in the search bars. So they are classified into two types. First is the short tail keywords. Short tail keywords are broad single term, like you type headphones. Alright, so these have massive monthly search. volumes, right? Extreme corporate competition and very low purchase intent, because users is likely to just browsing, they are not having the intent of buying if they are just writing a short tail keyword. And then we have long tail keyword. So they are highly descriptive phrases like wireless noise cancelling headphones for gaming. So these have lower search volumes but much lower competition with incredibly high conversion rate. If people are having long tail keywords, they are more likely to be the buyer. All right. So to optimize your store, you must embed these long tail phrases into your title tags, into your product description to make your visibility better. Okay, so next phase is itself the visibility, the reach of your store. So visibility measures how often and how prominently your store links appear across search results or related product query. So high visibility means search engine sees your platform as relevant. All right, and then we have ranking. So ranking, this is your precise position on the search engine result page. So the goal is to have a position of 1, 2 or 3. So the search engine calculate the ranking using two primary signals, that is relevance. Okay, so relevance is how well your page content answers the user search, and authority, that means how many other high quality website link back to you via hyperlink, which is known as backlinks, right? So these two things are used to get on the relevance and authority. I hope you understood the SEO concept. Now we'll go and talk about what are the SEO tools which are used to analyze, optimize and monitor the website performance. So how do data analysts manage this day to day? They use the standard suite of specialized tools, right? So make sure to list these specific tools in your exam sheet if you are asked about the SEO toolkit. All right, so the very first is Google Search Console. So your technical health dashboard is the Google Search Console. It monitors how search engine crawls your site, alerts you to indexing errors, and highlights any broken pages or mobile responses glitches. Alright, so all the technical issues, technical health is displayed on this Google Search Console. It basically provides us the dashboard. Then we talk about Google Analytics. So if you want to have behavioral tracking, if you want to understand that the user behaviors once they arrive at your site, or tracking matrices like what is the bounce rate and your e-commerce conversion rate. So all this behavioral analysis is done using Google Analytics. All right. Next we have is SEMrush. So SEMrush, you see, advanced competitor intelligence suites are provided in this. So they let you audit your competitor website. They let you find out exactly which keyword they rank for, and they help you track their backlink strategies. All right. So this is how you are able to optimize your own SEO. Then we have Google Keyword Planner. So this is used during the planning phase to find out the high volume search terms, like which are the terms: buy electronic online versus discounted gadgets, so that you can help and integrate them in your own system. Then is the Screaming Frog. Okay, so this is a specialized site crawler engine. It scans your entire platform to instantly spot the missing meta tag, or if there is broken redirect loop or any overly large image files that slow down your page speed. So remember that page speed is primary ranking factor as well. So these are the 5 listed SEO tools. There are more other tools as well which are working proactively to help you optimize your SEO. Alright, so let's bring all this together into a practical example you can use to wrap up in your exam. Alright, so how do we apply this to our premium store Electro Hub? The very first step would be research, keyword research. So we use Google Keyword Planner and we find that tech professionals frequently search for long tail phrases like best budget audiophile headphones for editing, for example. Then step 2 would be implementation. What you do, instead of just listing standard products, we publish a dedicated guide like top 5 budget audiophiles. We naturally weave the exact phrase into our title tags, into our URLs. And then the step 3 is optimization. We run screaming fog to ensure that all the product images have proper tags. Alright, allow search crawls to accurately index our visual assets. So we compress the image if there is very heavy images in our website, and we compress it to ensure that it takes minimum load time. And then there is the step 4, which is the result. So our site visibility go up. As a result, our organic ranking rise to the position of 1, for example, and your store sees an influx of organic traffic. Alright guys, let's unpack another core topic, which is server-side scripting versus client-side scripting. Think of a premium high-end restaurant for an example to understand what is the difference. So in a restaurant, you see everything that is happening out at the front table is beautiful, right? There's ambient lighting, there's smooth menu card layout, and the way the waiter moves, it's very smooth. So this is what client side scripting is, right? So it is beautiful ambient lighting. It runs directly inside the user's web browser using HTML, CSS and JavaScript, and it makes things look pretty and interactive. That is why it is the client side scripting. But what is server side scripting? So again, the example of restaurant. So you will see the bustling kitchen, restaurant kitchen out back. You never sees that, right? But there are the raw ingredients that are processed into actual meals, and there is all hustling here and there to prepare the meal as soon as possible. That is server side scripting, and the server side scripting is the code that is executed directly on the web server. So we are using the programming languages like Python, PHP or Node.js to dynamically build custom web experience for the buyer. So in the exam, make sure to detail these things, that server side scripting is the active part of the website that runs on the web browser rather than the user's browser. All right, so what runs on the user's browser is the client side scripting, and server side scripting is responsible for business logic of an e-commerce store, right? So this code is executed on the server using these languages. So there are few functions of e-commerce function in e-commerce of server side scripting, that is database interfering. So when you type gaming laptop in the search bar, the server side script immediately runs to the database vault and verifies that there are only 3 units left in stock, right? And pulls the current price and builds a custom HTML page to flash that warning on your screen that only 3 are left, right? So this is how database interfacing works. Then we have session management. So session management helps to track the user as they move from page to page. For example, you add laptop to your cart and the browser laptop into your cart and a browser of a mouse. Okay, you browse for a mouse. So what happens? The server side scripting assign a unique tracking token for your browser session. You already have something in your cart and you went for browsing something, so you get a unique identification. This ensures that your laptop doesn't vanish from your cart when you click next page, right? There's next page option. So it tags the cart to you like a luggage claim sticker, and it remains with you until you abandon the cart. Then you have authentication, that is validating the usernames and password against stored records during the login. So when you click login, the server takes your input, right, and hashes your password and compare it against the encrypted data vault. And if it is right, then it grants you if it's a perfect match, right? So you get the permission to actually access the thing, right? So that is how authentication work, and payment processing as well. So for example, you are hitting the checkout. So the server side scripts create a heavily encrypted digital tunnel to communicate with a payment provider like Stripe or PayPal. It says like, hi Stripe, I am authorized server X. Is this credit card good for $1,200? So if Stripe clears it, it sends a success token back, and the server updates your order status to paid status. This is how the server side scripting functions in e-commerce, right? So as I already discussed the difference between client side and server side, it runs on user browser and it runs on web browser. So main uses for UI UX animations to make everything beautiful, but for server side we are actually accessing the database security and the business logic. So user can see the source code of client side, but of the server side user cannot see the source code. And if you talk about e-com, it is making the site look interactive, so it is working on look and feel of the site, whereas server side scripting is actually making that site work. What is the business logic that needs to be implemented on the site is working behind the server side scripting. So I gave you the practical example of how you are clicking on a laptop, how you are clicking on buy now, and how the entire flow works, right? I hope you understood the concept clearly. Let's shift into an incredibly high yield question that frequently appear as a major long form essay scenario, that is the components of an e-commerce website. Alright, so the component number one is the product cataloging. So in product cataloging, it is an organizational backbone for an e-commerce site. It works as a blueprint for the database, you can say. So you can't just throw thousands of products into a random database pile, right? Cataloging is the process of grouping and categorizing the inventory into a clean logical taxonomy. So you see, it involves database where every product is assigned with the SKU. So there is an attribute assigned to every product like brand, price, color, weight, and this is a strict attribute, strict architecture. Alright, and then there is a taxonomy. Like I told you, there is a hierarchy. For example, in your database backend, you create a strict taxonomy that there will be electronics, then computer, then laptop, then gaming laptop. Alright, and importance is that proper cataloging is essential for SEO as well, because it act like a map for search engine optimization, and it makes incredibly easy for Google search crawlers to accurately scan and index your store, right? Now comes the second component. So next up is the product listing page, or we can say PLP. So this page represents the physical aisle of a department store. So when the user clicks on the category, for example category headphone, or types it into the search bar, that headphone, so the PLP is what renders on the screen. So what is the core job of PLP? That it displays the collection of product. It shows the structured collection of items using a clean grid view. Okay, and it is most powerful feature of PLP is the filtering and sorting part, which you can select the size, the color, the range, and the price, high to low or low to high, however you want it. Alright, so what is happening? Filter and sorting, there is grid list view and there is a quick view. So there's a feature that allows users to see basic details without leaving the page. Alright, and it relies heavily on server side scripting. So the moment you check the filter box, the script runs an optimized SQL query to pull only the matching subset of data from the master database. Okay, and it will show only the data you have filtered out, and it will be right on your screen in a split second. That is how product listing page works. The very next part is the very next component is product description page. So once the user clicks on a specific thumbnail inside the PLP, they land on a product description page. Okay, so for example, there are multiple brands of ice cream, and when you for a protein powder, for example, and when you click on particular protein powder, you will get all the detail about it, okay, in description. So as we discussed earlier, PDP, product description, um, act as a definite virtual salesperson. What a salesperson does, it discuss everything about the product, and it helps to build trust. All right, it helps to add richness to the which is needed to convince the customer to buy. All right, so for example, take a look at an Amazon smartphone listing. So you don't just see a static photo. The PDP, the product description page, features the high definition video gallery showing the phone in action, an interactive color selector, an explicit, bulleted specification that these are the technical pointers of the phone. And you'll see high contrast call to action button like add to cart, just now, few in stock. So this is how the social technology, it integrates social technology by pulling up the live user reviews and unedited customer photos, and this social proof answers the final buyer doubt right on the spot. So when the user clicks at a CTA button, call to action like add to cart or buy now, the cart building takes over. So what is the cart building? The shopping cart is a temporary database, okay, managed clearly behind the scenes via session management, and it stores the user selected data. So whatever you select, whatever you put in the cart building takes over. So it has three functionalities: real-time update, price calculation, and persistence. So in real-time dynamic update, a user should be able to change an item quantity from 1 to 2, or delete or remove the item without refreshing the page or reloading the web page. And then there should be an automatically it must automatically compute the subtotals, factor in discount coupon, and calculate the accurate estimated shipping fees and taxes on the fly, right? There should be automatic price calculation. There should be persistent. This is a major conversion booster. A great cart remembers what you added even if you accidentally close the browser, or even if you come back 2 days later. So this is the persistence. For example, if a shopper adds $50 jacket to their cart on a poorly coded site, and the page reloads slowly or wipes their selection when they navigate away, and they will get frustrated and leave. So optimizing your cart building is the fastest way to slash the cart abandonment rates. Okay, so most people abandon their cart and they never buy it. So it is very important to boost the customer experience by enhancing the cart building. The very next fifth component is the checkout. So this is the cash counter, or we can say the vault. So finally we reach at the ultimate destination after the cart is getting done, is the checkout, and this is the highest stake phase of entire customer journey. All right, so it is the final conversion phase, and it is technically complex part of the site and must be completely secure. It is very important that it is secure. So the checkout flow moves systematically through 4 distinct checkpoints. First is authentication. So the user logs into their account and proceed smoothly via a fast guest checkout flow, right? Then they add, for example, they are gathering the exact physical delivery address and phone details, and after that you are paying. You are connecting to the front end securely to specialize the financial processor, right? For example, you're connecting to PayPal or Razorpay via APIs which are already integrated, and you clear their credit card, digital wallet, or UPI, whatever you are paying through, and after that you get an order confirmation. So you are getting displayed the final transaction summary right before the customer hits the place order. So this is how the entire concept of components of how e-commerce website is and how it is built is entirely based on the customer journey, and we saw how the pieces connect seamlessly in real time. I hope you understood the concept. Now let's jump into an heavyweight topic, that is third party integration. So here's a brutal reality of tech industry, that no modern pattern, no modern e-commerce platform builds every single feature from scratch. All right, if you're building an online electronic store like a case study, that is Electro Hub, you do not code your own credit card clearance network, you do not manufacture your own global shipping planes, or design a standalone satellite map system. That would cost you millions and bankrupt you before even launch, right? So in professional e-commerce system, no website operates in isolation. We go for third party integration, that are the external services. Alright, they are the external software services that is connected via API. API stands for application programming interfaces. So think of API as a digital adapter. You see, digital adapter plugs let the external software services connect to your platform. That is how API works, and it handles all the specialized tasks that the core website cannot perform alone. So there are few of the tasks we'll discuss in detail. First is the payment system. So this is the most critical integration that enable that there is secure exchange of value without any problem. All right, so it is connecting the store to banks and the card networks. So you see, when a customer inputs their credit card or processes a mobile UPI scan on Electro Hub, your storefront does not save the sensitive financial data locally. All right, doing so will make your massive target doing this will make you a massive target for cyber criminals, and it might violate the strict security compliance laws. That is why instead of doing this, we integrate the payment gateway that instantly encrypts the data packet and route them directly to the card network and acquire the bank to authorize the fund. That is why we have integrated payment gateways. It ensures that store doesn't store the sensitive data, and it is integrated for multiple channel support. So for example of payment gateway integration are Stripe, PayPal, Razorpay. You might have heard of them very commonly. So next is data layer integration. Okay, so this is where we track the user behavior and we analyze how to maximize our store conversion rate. So to explain technically, you can define the data layer as an invisible layer of your website that stores structured data and send it to the analysis tool like Google Analytics 4 or Google Tag Manager. So these are the third party analytic tools. So if a shopper arrives at Electro Hub for a specific Google SEO link, it clicks a smartphone listing, all right, and it adds it to their cart but drops off at a shipping stage. So what will you do? Our core website code drops standard event tags like view item, add to cart, and checkout abandonment straight into the data layer, and the external tracking pixels read this from our layer simultaneously. So this allows the marketing analysis to identify where the conversion funnel is leaking, where we are losing our customers, and helping to organize the targeted email reminder to win the customer back, like pinning them with the messages or emails. Alright, next we have customer support integration. So the third pillar is customer support integration. In e-commerce, we thrive on interactivity. It is very important. So if a customer has a question about a technical product and can't find the immediate answer, they will hit the back button, causing you the bounce rate, right? So to prevent this, what we do, we have integration of live chatbots, live chat or chatbot, right? So this tool will help you to answer the queries immediately, right? So that the customer does not bounce back. And we can also get the help desk or ticketing. So it converts the email or social media messages into organized tickets for the support agents. And we can also get the CRM integration. So it connects the support data with the customer purchase history so that the agents know what exactly the user bought. So example for customer support integration is Zendesk, Freshdesk and Intercom. So the fourth pillar is the order tracking and shipping integration. So this is the bridge that is connecting your digital store of order confirmation screen to the physical delivery at the customer's front door. Alright, so it is connecting, it is the bridge. For example, the second a checkout is successful on ElectroHub, our backend automatically fires an API call to the shipping aggregator. For example, we have ShipRocket as our shipping aggregator. The script transmit the package exact weight, dimension and destination coordinate, and the logistic API respond instantly by generating a print ready shipping label and a unique label tracking number. And this tracking number is automatically pushed to the store user interface, allowing the customer to track their package moving in real time. So you see, it is written out that order is packed, order is being shipped, order is arriving, order has arrived. So this is how order tracking and shipping integration work. So the tools, various example is like ShipStation, Delivery, FedEx. Alright, so these are kind of order tracking and shipping integrations which we can integrate with our own businesses. The very critical final component is the return and cancellation integration. So it manages the reverse logistics, which is essential for customer trust and operational efficiency. Building trust means making returns just as seamless as buying. So let's look at the exact 3-step programmatic workflow that you should trace on your exam sheet if asked about the return journey. First is RMA. So RMA stands for Return Merchandise Authorization. So the customer clicks return in their account panel and select their reason, and the system automatically check the return window policy rule. So then we have the reverse pickup. So the site automatically pings the shipping API to generate the reverse pickup label and assign the courier to collect the package from the customer's home. And then we have the quality check and refund. When the returned package arrives back at the warehouse, an associate scans the barcode and the system verifies the item condition. And if it is right, so it pings the original payment gateway API and initiate an automatic refund straight to the buyer's card. So this updates the product catalog database inventory and it counts in real time. Alright, so this is how the return and cancellation integration works. I hope you understood how third-party integration apps play a vital role in our e-commerce business. It is not important that we are building everything from scratch. We are just having partnership integration with multiple already existing tools and make our work effective. So if the examiner asks you about recommendation system, this is exactly how you go on to answer. So a recommendation system is an intelligent information filtering platform or information filtering algorithm that predicts the user preferences. Alright, it predicts the user preferences and serve them highly personalized whatever product they want. So it is an ultimate implementation of personalization which happens in e-commerce. So we'll break down the primary methodology that is used in this system. First is collaborative filtering. So this approach focuses entirely on the user behavior profile. So it scans millions of shoppers to find your digital lookalikes. So who are doing exactly same as you. For example, if user A and user B both buy an audiophile amplifier on ElectroHub, and user B goes on to purchase a premium audio cable, so the system assumes that user A will likely want a cable too, pushing it into their home page. And you might also like home cable, all right, audio cable for example. So this is the collaborative filtering, where we are filtering based on behaviors of lookalikes, like people doing the same kind of buying. All right, then we have content based filtering. So this approach focuses on the explicit data attribute of the product themselves. Alright, so here we are focusing on attribute of the data. So if you spend your time browsing a 14-inch laptop with an M series chip, the system scans your product catalog database for item matching those exact tags and recommending other portable and high performing laptops. Alright, so this is basically on what you are searching. So this is the content based filtering. And if you see that modern platforms use hybrid models as well, that combine both approaches with real time browsing data to enable highly effective upselling, and also working as an cross selling to suggest the compatible case or charger or a checkpoint page. So hybrid models use both upselling and cross selling. So what is upselling and cross selling? So it is used on the product description page to suggest higher end model, that is upselling, and complementary products like cross selling. All right, so collaborating this, we have hybrid models. And then we also have retention tools. So retention tools are the system keep up user engaged by showing them relevant content and significantly increasing the customer lifetime value. And also we have reduced search cost in the recommendation system. So by predicting what user want, it lowers the cognitive energy, and the consumer spends searching, leading to faster conversion. So when we are doing filtering, when there is recommendation system, there is high probability that we are filtering out basic millions of data which is not needed by the user. We are only showing them the recommended data, right, recommended products. So it eliminates the searching time for the consumer, and they are able to find the right match instantly. So this is the advantage of having recommender system in the e-commerce, and it plays very vital role. To close out the unit 2 with distinction grade marks, you must be prepared to write structured short notes on major emerging technology reshaping the modern marketplace. So let's break down this big 5 with absolute clarity. So first of all, the emerging technology is the chatbot, that is interactive AI conversationals. So first, chatbots are what? They are the automated programs, right? Used that stimulate the human conversation, and they are fulfilling the ubiquity feature of e-commerce, that is they are providing 24/7 services. They are cost efficient. You see, they handle over 80% of routine queries, and they allow company to reduce the support staff cost. And they have NLP integration. By using natural language processing, they understand what the user intended, and they are trying to provide the human like responses. And they are also providing sales conversion. So you see, advanced bot, they can guide the user through entire funnel from product discovery to checkout, so which helps to have a seamless user experience. And then they also help in multi-channel presence. They can be integrated into the website, into the mobile apps, and also social media platform as well. And also they provide the personal assistance by assessing what the user had ordered before, and they tailor their advice accordingly. Next we have is augmented reality, also known as AR. So this overlays an interactive digital element directly into the user's real world through a smartphone camera. So, for example, the biggest challenge of online store is the trust gap, right? Customer worry about the item won't fit or look the right in reality. So AR, augmented reality, solves this completely. So with an AR integration, the user browsing Electro Hub, for example Electro Hub, can open their smartphone camera, see a realistic 3D model of 30, you can say 65-inch television at the exact scale on their living room wall, and they can confirm if it fits perfectly before buying. So this visual trial experience builds deep buyer confidence and massively slashes the cost product return rates, right? So that is why augmented reality plays a very vital role. Next we have big data. So this refers to a massive volume of high velocity structured and unstructured data points generated by every click, every hover, every search query or cart abandonment across your store. For example, big data analytics engine combine user demographic, historical competitor, price trends and live web traffic to run a dynamic pricing algorithm. So if a sudden tech trend spikes, if there's sudden demand for specific microphone, for example, the algorithm detects and adjusts the prices in real time to maximize the profit margin. So it also operates as a real-time security framework, and it flags the unusual transaction location or payment attempts to block if there is any fraud happening instantly. So that is why big data works as an insight generator, and it also an optimizational brain. Next we have cloud computing. So it is an infinite scalable server. Okay, so you can say this is a delivery of computer power, delivery of scalable database and storage resources over the web. So it eliminates the need to maintain a database, physical database or physical hardware on site, right? So running a cloud infrastructure like AWS or Microsoft grants you elastic scalability. So the cloud detects that there is massive traffic on your website. So what it does, it handles the load smoothly, and when the sales end, it automatically scales back down and ensuring that you only pay for the exact computing power when used. Like it is only used on Black Friday sale, so you will be only paying for that particular moment only. Okay, so it allows scalability, it provides major security, it ensures the global reach and disaster recovery as well. So next we have is the product comparison tool. This is the final. So these are the feature interactive tabular layout feature built to help consumer make informed decisions. For example, when buying a tone between buying a Sony or a Bose headphone, you are not able to you are not able to decide which you should buy, either Sony or either Bose. So a product comparison tool allows them to check both boxes and match their technical specification side by side in a clear matrix table, comparing what is the battery life, what is the weight, what is the Bluetooth version and what is the price, right? So this removes the information asymmetry and gives the buyer clear decision support, and it reduces the buyer's remorse. Furthermore, these pages carry SEO value as well. You see, it carries SEO value because they target high converted search phases like Sony headphone versus Bose headphones, capturing users who are right at the finish line of their buying journey. And that is a wrap up on a massive ultra practical unit 2. So let's do a quick mental inventory that I hope you are able to map out the various components of e-commerce application, and you understand what SEO engineering is, and able to comfortably understand product description page, and you can now exactly tell how third party integration works, and also speak fluently about various emerging technologies like AI chatbot, augmented reality, big data, and elastic cloud scalability. This is an incredible amount of practical and industry standard knowledge. And before we gear up for the final sprint into the next unit, I want you to literally pause this video right now. Do not skip ahead yet. Take exactly 2 minutes to sit quietly, flip back through your notes, and let your brain build those critical memory connections. Alright, hit that pause button, take a quick breath, and when you're ready, unpause and let's crack the next e-commerce syllabus together.